Hello and welcome to Verbling. I'm teacher Oakley. For the next hour here at Verbling, we are going to continue our business English series. In today's class, we're going to be looking at international partners and partnerships. We'll be learning some related vocabulary as usual. A lot of discussion and practicing, sharing opinions and using description, and maybe fit in a little English business writing exercise, a little fill in the blank type exercise I have in store for us today. Okie dokie. All right. Hello, Mustafa. How are you today? Mustafa, can you hear me? Okay. Mustafa, I'm not sure what's going on. Hello, hello. Okay. Matthew. Hello. Greetings.
Hello, loud and clear.
Okay, thanks for confirming that. I get worried when
No.
people don't respond at all. Okay. Mustafa, are you there? I don't know.
I'm here. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. My connection is go on and off. I don't know what's happened.
Okay. The wonders of the internet. That's what happened. Oh, okay. All right. We're going to be looking at international partnership today. Okay. First of all, we're going to introduce it. I'll let you guys talk a little bit. I'm going to do a screen share and just to give you some ideas. I'm going to start out just talking generally about problems of expanding into a new market, into a new country. We kind of did a class on this a couple weeks ago, but we're kind of expanding that. So anyway, think about advice for foreign companies that are expanding into a local market, and as it regards the following points: language, laws, customs, collaborators and competitors, and finance. Okay. Mustafa, which, for example, do you think would be maybe the most difficult point here in regards to problems? What, in your opinion, might be the most difficult point?
Regard to the foreign company when they want to invest in foreign country?
Yeah, when they want to, that's right, invest in a foreign country or start a business in a foreign country or form a partnership is really the idea. Form a partnership.
It might be the language, teacher. It might be the language, but yeah, it might be the language. Yeah.
It could be. Oh, okay. Oh, well, all right. Why do you say that?
Because you know, like if you come, maybe you are talking in English language and you come to maybe, for example, Arabic country, so you need people who can speak maybe two language in order to you can communicate and deal with the local people in this country, because of course when you come and invest in foreign country you have to hire their people, and when you PM, then you must to talk you must have people talk two language. So this is like kind of problem.
Yeah. Okay. Well, interesting that you say that, Mustafa, because the fact that you're learning a second language means that you could be a problem solver. Which some people say, some people who talk about business and making money, if you want to make money, figure out how to solve a problem. Anyway, there you go. Matthew, what do you think? What do you think is the most pressing problem, the most difficult problem to surmount of these possibilities here?
Well, I would go for laws and regulations.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, it depends on what market you're going to expand. But let's say in countries, I presume maybe in many there is an element of corruption and also some regulation laws that you should obey, you should follow, and
Mm-hmm.
also I think in every country you should pay under the table to the politicians. Like if you want to if you want to expand on a large scale, like your business, like to have something to do, something, some activities, some big activity, I think you should pay to decision makers. So decision makers, so you would have a place in that business.
Okay. Well, I don't know about all countries. Many.
What? Sorry?
I'm not sure about all countries.
Well, but I'm kind of pessimistic, and I think even in the United States, from what movies, from what films I've seen, there is this thing. The only thing that distinguish these countries from Eastern Europe and Western countries, that in Western countries it's more hidden, this thing, maybe it's more it's not so in press. They don't talk so much in press, and you should
well,
but I don't know,
when I said not all countries, Matthew, I really wasn't thinking of United States.
But what country?
I was thinking more like Sweden or Finland or Switzerland. I don't know. Anyway.
Okay.
Yeah, you have a point. You definitely have a point. I have to ask you a question, but first I have to say that I agree. Laws and regulations can be one of the biggest points. Actually, the first thing I have to do is welcome Roberto. Hi, Roberto. Welcome to the class.
Hi, teacher. Thank you.
Hi. I'm going to talk to you in just a minute. Let me finish up with Matthew here. I think you have a very solid point, choosing laws and regulations as one of the biggest problems. Sometimes it's not even the corruption. The corruption is huge, a huge problem. I agree. Sometimes it's the law of the land that's a problem. For example, here in the Philippines, any business you start, international partnership, I'm an American. If I start a business here, it doesn't matter if I start a coffee shop or a factory or what. Doesn't matter. A Filipino must have controlling interest. They must own 51%, which means they can force me out pretty much anytime they want to. When I outlive my usefulness, if I don't have money, finance money, or they don't like me or whatever, I can easily be forced out quite legally. Never mind corruption or anything else. Also, in the Philippines, as a foreigner, I am not allowed to own any land, any property, period. I can't own it. So if I want to build a factory, I can't own the land. So somebody else is controlling the land that I'm leasing or renting. So again, I can have the rug pulled out from under me at any time. There's nothing I can do about it. And it will be completely above board, by the book, by the law. So that stuff can be pretty scary. Matthew, where you live, do you happen to know, maybe you don't know, but do you know the laws regarding things like that? Foreigner ownership of property or businesses? Do you know anything about that?
Well, I think we have pretty good laws. So basically, there is no like you said in Philippines, you should be like Filipino or something to own the land, and a Filipino must have like 51%. I think we don't have this kind of rule, so anybody can come to our country and they can open a business, and it's like they open a company with foreign investment. That's the type of business. Yeah.
So it happens. It happens, and it happens frequently then?
Of course, we have multinational corporations like companies, Microsoft, all this stuff we have here, and from the United States. But the thing that I've heard like a couple of times on TV, you know, some politician talking about other politicians, and they said like that for example, a company from Germany came here and they paid under the table like 10,000 euros or maybe more just to have the right to open that store on that place. Yeah, they paid to politicians.
Right.
So they always talking about that and they're saying that companies refuses to come. Some companies refuses because we have like a corrupt jurisdiction. What's you call that system? Where judges.
You're very close. You almost got the adjective version.
Yeah.
Judicial.
Judicial, yeah. We have a very corrupt judicial system, and basically, if some politician wants to remove like a company or a person, like a foreign person from business from here, they just appeal to those corrupt judges, and they I don't know how to say. Like they, what do the judges do? They,
okay.
Like take decision. For example, take decision to close down that company, for example. Okay. That's it.
They make a decision, but yeah, probably they use some mechanism of law to close them down. You know.
And you know, that's very frustrating to hear something like that. That's kind of called like that's like you know, I don't know. It's when you don't have competitors, like foreign competitors. That's very bad for local business.
Yeah, right. Not to mention employment. Okay. Yeah, we didn't even get into the tax laws or the customs laws, which is a whole nother kettle of fish. Okay, let me talk to Roberto. Roberto, we're discussing problems involved in partnerships abroad in another country. There's some examples here in bullet points that I'm sharing on the screen. What do you think is the biggest problem? Maybe.
I think the biggest problem in my country is bureaucratic problems. You have to have a paper from environment for laboral risk, for example, for your business can. Okay, it can pass maybe 6 months, and you can start the business already. Okay, for me, the main problem is many papers.
Okay, so you might say bureaucracy and red tape. Bureaucracy is the noun that describes the whole thing that you're talking about. Bureaucracy and red tape, talking about regulations and all the paperwork that takes time to process and be reviewed and be certified, blah, blah, blah.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Right. Again, with the regulations. Yeah, and again, we didn't even. Then there's your market, you know, the taste and customs of the consumers who are buying your product in another company. Of course, there's always problems with your possible partners, problems with your possible competitors. Finance, maybe. We didn't even talk about things like trade tariffs, you know, exporting and importing taxes, and other taxes. We didn't even mention that. It's a whole another bunch of possible problems. Yeah. Okay. Let's expand on this. I'm gonna hang on. I'm gonna hang on. Hold on a second. I'm zipping down to the end here. Okay. Reasons for overseas expansions. We'll go one at a time, A, B, C, D. And also we've got some strong business co-locations here, so we'll also talk about the vocabulary as we go along. And maybe after we look at these reasons to expand, we'll look at what might be one or two or more possible problems with that might, as a result of actually this problems with reaching these goals or obtaining these objectives. Okay, so Mustafa, for example, well, the first one's kind of vague. I'll tackle the first one because it's totally vague. To achieve a corporate objective, this is very, very general. All right, so I just want to say a corporate objective could be any of the other things on this list, depending on what their objective is. So this is a very general statement, so we can't get very specific about it. So Mustafa, actually, why don't you start with B?
To achieve economics of scale.
Economies of scale. This is
Economies of
this phrase. This is a very, very, I guess it's a colloquial phrase, a business colloquialism. But for some reason, we don't say economics of scale. We normally say economies of scale, and it really doesn't make sense, Mustafa. You're trying to say economics of scale, and frankly, logically, that makes a lot more sense. But
Yeah.
this is how we actually say it, economies of scale. First of all, okay, what does that mean?
It's a new term for me, economies of scale.
Well,
Economy of scale. A financial goal?
no, if you don't know, it would be very difficult to figure
Yeah.
out.
I don't know.
The best way to explain it is to give an example. Well, let's ask your classmates here. Matthew, do you know what economies of scale means?
Well, it's like a communist system.
Okay. I was thinking McDonald's, but okay, not exactly. I think McDonald's is a good example of economies of scale. All right?
So what's the idea of that?
Okay, well, let me explain that. Look, McDonald's has, how many McDonald's are there now? I don't even have any idea how many thousands of McDonald's are in the world. But if you want to sell hamburgers in a restaurant, there is no chance that you are going to be able to sell a hamburger roughly equivalent to the Big Mac hamburger in McDonald's for the same price. Trust me, it's going to be impossible. Because you have such a small operation, you're buying less products, so you're paying higher price for your ingredients, your burger meat, your buns, and your lettuce and tomato and whatever, your secret sauce, whatever you need. It's just plain going to cost you more money to make that cheeseburger. And so you're going to have to sell it for more money. On the other hand, McDonald's, having so many customers and so many franchises, so many different places, they buy ridiculously huge quantities of beef and bread and everything they need. that they get really cheap prices. Not to mention, really, the essential idea behind economies of scale is if I have a small burger stand myself, in order to make a decent profit, I'm going to have to try to get, I don't know, maybe 10% profit on every hamburger I sell. McDonald's doesn't have to do that. McDonald's can get 1% profit on every hamburger and make a fortune because they're going to sell 1 billion hamburgers. And, you know, 1% of 1 billion is not that shabby. So they can have a much lower, not only are their costs affected and lower, how much it costs them for ingredients, but also the fact that they can use a much smaller profit margin and sell a lot more product, they'll actually make more money. That's the idea.
Yeah, I remember totally. I knew
Yeah.
this term, but you know, I somehow confused it with what I
Right.
said.
Other companies do it. Walmart, IKEA, they also same concept. They can take. It doesn't matter if you know. I can take $10 from one person, or I can take 1 cent from 1 billion people, and I'm going to make a lot more money taking 1 cent from 1 billion people. Obviously. Okay, so Mustafa, there you go. You understand this?
Yeah, but it's a new term for me.
Okay, it's a good term. Now, what problems could there be with this concept, trying to just reach a lot more customers? Sorry. Well, what problems could you have? There's a number, maybe.
I'm just reading it.
Mhm.
I'm trying to reading it.
Yeah, everybody is. It's okay.
You should keep the price, demand, offer, like you should keep it on a level, so you would not have you would not have like a very big demand, and you would not have supply for that, but or otherwise, like you would have lots of offer but low demand. Does that make any sense?
Almost.
But that's a yes.
Okay. Okay, well, it's going to be very difficult. If you're trying to make money through economy of scale, it's very difficult. It took McDonald's years to get where they are. It's a balancing act. I kind of get your point. It's a balancing act between supply and demand. And how are you going to know what your demand is if you're starting in a new country? You know, so it's very difficult. Well, if you're starting in a new country with a new product, you're trying to sell a lot, Mustafa, what might you have to do? For example, looking at this list of problems.
Sorry, teacher, can you repeat your question?
If you're trying to sell a lot of products, you're a new company, but imagine that you're McDonald's just moving into a country that's never seen McDonald's. What are going to be the problems?
The problem will be the community don't know about you.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Right. So what kind of things might you have to do? We'll have to change. We'll have to find. We'll need. For example,
you will need help maybe from a local firm.
Okay. Possibly.
Or maybe. Can we say on this package?
Virtually, you could. In reality, you could probably pick any one of these and make it
advertising.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Definitely advertising, because you probably have brand recognition where you're from, but you have zero. So you're gonna have to start from the beginning. Okay, that's a good one. That's one I was looking at. Okay, let's take a look at another one here.
Okay.
Another totally separate reason, Matthew, C.
To reach richer customers. Well, it's not necessarily. It depends on the product, you know.
Yeah, it does.
Some products are like for are made for average people, or average income. How would you say average income people?
Yeah, I think average income people is pretty good, but I have to say that richer customers here, I don't like this. A better, more formal term would be upscale consumers. You're trying to reach instead of richer customers, upscale consumers.
This text is written by a second English speaker.
Well, I don't know about that, but anyway, I would like my terminology better.
And you know, it depends. So if you sell, for example, an expensive alcohol, yes, you need like you need like above the average people, above the average income people, and more like. But if you sell like some like razors, Gillette,
yeah,
there are all kind of people.
Right. So, okay, if you're from Jamaica and you're trying to sell a really fancy, refined rum, let's say, you have Jamaica's famous for rum, so okay, you have some kind of brand recognition, a little bit anyway. I mean, at least for the fact that your country produces that product, for example. Ooh, a better one. Think about Cuba. Now opening the market to America, all right? You can bet somebody is thinking about selling Cuban cigars, fine, handmade Cuban cigars to rich Americans. In fact, I'm thinking of it right now. Somebody else is thinking of it. What problems might I have, Matthew, do you think? Selling products in America.
In America?
Yeah, like if I'm in Cuba, and very soon I'm going to be able to sell Cuban cigars.
Well, I don't see any distinguishing problem. What problem?
Okay. All right, maybe there's not. My God, let's go into business.
There's not a problem. What I mean that if you allow to import those Cuban cigars, you can sell them.
Yeah, I can see one possibly. You might have to change your packaging. There are packaging laws in the United States, going right along with laws and regulations. I think there's pretty strict packaging laws. You know, I have no idea what they are in Cuba, so I can't really say, but I suppose, possibly. You may need help from local firms as well, because you need distributors. It's one thing to export, but you need somebody to sell them.
You can sell them on eBay, on Amazon.
There you go. You get a jump on the market, Matthew. Let's get started. Cuban cigars.
You can sell them
Romeo
through drones. With drones.
With drones.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Roberto, let's move on to D. A reason a company might expand.
To confront their competitors.
Okay. Okay. Why would they do that? Can you think of an example?
For example, like a business of fast food, for example, is if you go to another place, you will have probably many shops about many business about fast food, like McDonald's, Burger King, and many others.
Right.
and you'll have to face with the prices and the things they have in your business, like areas for playing kids, for example, or other
Okay.
things.
Right. Okay. To compete with them on a world scale, I get your meaning, Roberto. Where are you from?
I'm from Madrid, Spain.
Spain. Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay. Um, Roberto, are there any Spanish fast food companies?
Yes, but there are very few. Yeah, and there is a, a little locals about this kind of food. I think McDonald's, Burger King, and the fast food business,
Uh-huh.
is a huge amount of business. I think
Yeah.
yes, it's terrible.
Yeah.
No, local films is not here.
Right. The majority of the market has already been captured by those famous American fast food. But do you have any Spanish fast food restaurants that are in other countries that maybe you could find in Italy or France or
Yes, in France.
in
France,
France? Okay.
McDonald's.
Okay.
Yes,
No, I
McDonald's. Ah, okay, okay. Okay, yes.
no, I mean totally Spanish companies. I'll give you an example. Um, Here in the Philippines, we have a fast food company called Jollibee's. Yay, Jollibee's. Okay, now there are an enormous number of Filipinos in America. All right, and Filipinos tend to travel back and forth between the Philippines and America. There's a big cross-cultural current of people traveling back and forth. So they have Jollibees in the Philippines, but there was no Jollibees in America. So what would happen is people would go work in America for 5 years, become addicted to Burger King or McDonald's, and then come back here and they would just keep, people are creatures of habit. They'd keep buying McDonald's. So Jollibees, basically to confront their competition, and really to confront their competition here in the Philippines, they opened up Jollibees in the United States, and primarily always in communities where there was a high Filipino population. Why? To keep those people interested, keep the brand recognition, so that the people coming back and forth between the two countries, well, they can keep eating Jollibees wherever they are. And they're not going to change their allegiance just because they go live with their aunt for one summer in San Francisco, for example. And it really did work, actually. Certainly. So anyway, that's an example of they're definitely, David compared to Goliath. You know what I mean, David and Goliath, Roberto?
David, can you repeat the?
David and Goliath?
No, sorry, I don't know.
Okay. It refers to the Bible story. We use it idiomatically. It's a David and Goliath situation. It's a David and Goliath story. It comes from the Bible story. David, he swung his sling and slayed the giant Goliath. Okay? The small guy, the very tiny guy against the giant. That's the idea. So, anyway, the story I just told you is very much a David and Goliath story. The little guy fighting to survive against the huge Goliath McDonald's. Okay. Anyway, yeah, and this strategy basically served them well. Their sales went up. They've got a market in America now, and their market is stronger in the Philippines now. Yeah. What do you think they had to change when they went to the United States?
I think I think when
Yeah.
the problems are when you go to another place, you'll face strong competition from local
Absolutely.
films.
Right, they're already established. Yeah, that would be a huge one for the example that we're talking about. A number of other problems, possibly. Working methods, maybe, but that's a huge one, the biggest one. I agree with you.
Yes, but it's this type of films are, I don't know the word, are, I don't know. But the problem is with the method is are that you have to take the same method in all countries, I think, because it's a multinational.
Hmm.
I don't know if you be able to adapt to local working method if the main company says, okay, you can adapt. Maybe it's not possible because it's a multinational, and you have to respect the opinion of the main company.
That's true. Yes, you're right. So that could lead to problems. Because in our restaurant analogy, in our restaurant example, for example, sanitation laws, there are certain laws about how food is prepared in different countries. And America, for example, has very, very strict sanitation laws. And I'll tell you something, Roberto, Philippines does not.
Okay.
Totally different. For example, they would have no choice. You want to open up a chain of restaurants in the United States, you're going to have to follow the laws, or they will shut down your restaurant. And that's not a joke. They will. They don't give you a lot of second chances in the United States with that type of thing. They're pretty strict. Just as an example. And of course, if your working methods involve anything illegal, well, then you're going to have to change them. Okay, just, that's just an example. Your idea is the best idea. The competition from existing firms is really the biggest problem. Okay. All right. Well, the next ones are kind of straightforward. Mustafa, obviously expand their sales area. Well, that goes along with confronting the competition and economies of scale. Let's skip that one for a second and go to F. What does this mean? To respond to an invitation. What do you think that means?
It's give me the sense of meaning. There is some requirement and that in this or that country, so they want your maybe your product, and there is like a lot of requests about your product. So it's like an invitation for your business to come to this country to invest in. I'm not sure that's correct or not.
Well, I think it is, but who's inviting? Who's doing the inviting?
The inviting is not like direct inviting, teacher. It's direct inviting for your product, like requirement for your product. So there is some requirement that at that country they need your product, and there's like this needs become like expanding more and more. So you have to maybe move to that country to like expand your business, something like that. That's what I meant.
Okay, but who would do the inviting? That would still be an invitation. Okay, they need your project. I can see what you mean. If you're building a nuclear power plant, for example, you would be invited by who to build a nuclear power plant?
Okay, exactly. So it would be, I'm not, for example, like you said, power planet, or maybe, for example, maybe oil. Maybe there's like you want to invest in oil. So yeah, so it has to be from the government.
There you go. That's what I was waiting for. Right. The government may invite your company. Yes, especially things that have to do with the national infrastructure, like energy or whatever, building a giant bridge or something, a dam, something like that, major construction projects, a port, an airport. Sure. Also, Mustafa, it could be another company inviting you. It's possible. Or a combination of both.
Yeah, like, yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Okay. If it's some kind of company that is complementary to, for example, again, I keep bringing up the Philippines because that's the example I'm living in. But the local beverage company invited Pepsi-Cola to be an affiliate with them here in this country so that they would keep the same distribution network. They said, hey, you know, join us. Okay, we'll sell your products and our products. We'll keep the same distribution network and we'll take part of your profits. Like that. Okay? So for for every $10 made by Pepsi-Cola company here in the Philippines, actually for every dollar profit, really San Miguel company, another company here, the distribution that already has the distribution network, they're getting 50 cents of that dollar. Pepsi-Cola company is only getting 50 cents. You see what I'm saying? They invited Pepsi-Cola here so they could make money off them because they already had a distribution network in place.
Yeah.
See what I mean?
Yeah.
So things like that happen all the time. Also, there's another example. There's a huge industrial park in the city where I live. And basically, because the more leases they sell in the industrial park, the less the government has already pledged they will charge less for a lease the more people that move in. So companies are trying to get other companies to join them in the industrial park. This is kind of joint government and other companies, you see, are inviting other companies to join them.
Yes.
Probably not direct competition in this case, but anyway, sometimes even direct competition, you know, if they can make money off it. Anyway, yeah, so that's what that means. And then, of course, what is your big problem? You know, for example, one company invites you to join them and use their distribution network, for example.
Maybe. Teacher, I'm not sure, but maybe we will have to adapt to the working method.
Okay, maybe, yeah.
I'm not sure because I don't have
That's part of it. Also, the whole problem with partners, you know, you're going to have a partner. If you're invited, then somebody's your partner. The government's your partner because they've invited you because they want, or some other companies invited you. You have to deal with everything that has to do with communicating and the whole partnership, and that may include adapting to working methods and other things. That's true.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Matthew, why would a company go to another country to maintain sales levels? What's the logical reason? Why would a company do that?
Well, I think we've covered that in the previous lesson or something, that it might be that in country where they work, there is some kind, maybe a war or something. So the levels decrease, the level of sales decrease, and they go in other places to maintain or to expand.
That's it. For one of many other possible reasons, their sales are dropping in their original country.
Yeah.
And that's it. So if they want to maintain the the level of their company, they're going to have to move somewhere else. That's it. That's all. Very, very good. Roberto, how about the last one here? Take advantage of an opportunity. What kind of opportunity? What does that mean?
I think that it's important to expand the business for your competitors in your country. For example, in Spain there are many banks. Okay, I know local banks that they prefer to do the business in a local area, but the other bank, if other bank want to grow or to go to another country, he'll take advantage and opportunities, I think.
Okay. All right. Because, you know, an opportunity means there's somebody who needs something. I was going to say somebody who wants something, but it's even better if somebody needs something that you have and they can't get it. They have a hard time getting it. Well, then there's an opportunity. And that's it. Sure. And the banking, whatever the business. Sure. There's a market. It's just a simple way to say that. Okay. For the last 15 minutes or so, we're going to read this kind of related business letter and substitute and fill in the blank with words. These words that we're filling in the blank with are not going to be really tricky business-related nouns or adjectives or anything. They're very straightforward connectives, like the first one, other. Simple words, generally speaking. Generally speaking, mostly just simple words. Okay. For example, dear Mr. Lee, just go ahead and read the sentence, fill in the blank with an appropriate word. We are a specialist producer of top quality reflective optical components for microscopes and other scientific instruments based in Lublin, Poland. Period. Okay, Mustafa, number 2. We'll go sentence by sentence.
Okay. To blank, you may have read in the trade press just over a year ago. We patented an improved version of an extremely compact mirror, which is blank of reflecting almost 100% of the light it receives.
Okay. What is this first simple word? It's the whole thing, blank, you may have heard or may have read. It's just a kind of introductory phrase, discourse marker, transitional, what have you. Common in business letter writing, actually. Any idea?
My mind went blank. I don't have any idea.
Okay.
If you may have read, if I'm not sure.
Close. No. As you may have heard, as you may have read, these are common ways to introduce something. Okay, there's been a lot of publicity, so or something was in the news. So I might introduce the topic by saying, as you may have heard, oil is down to $45 a barrel. Okay, that was in the news recently. As you may have read, a bomb went off in Thailand yesterday, in Bangkok. Okay, it would be a very common way to introduce this very specific news, but any news, actually.
I was trying to say in case, but okay.
In case, in a special circumstances, you may, in case you may have heard. Well, in case you heard, I don't know if you would use the whole phrase. In case you may have heard. No, I don't think you would. In case you heard, I don't know if you'd use the whole may have heard, the whole modal perfect there. Okay, anyway, which is blank of reflecting almost 100% of light. Okay, now, this is an adjective. Not so simple a word. Do you know
Which
what
is
fits there?
which is achieved or succeed? I don't know. I don't know.
Well, I would, successful at. Okay. There may be another word I can't think of, but the word I can think of is capable. Capable of.
Yeah.
Capable of means able to. Same thing. It's just more formal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Matthew, can you take over? Finish the paragraph here from sales.
Sales of this mirror in original form to our customers in Europe and the US have risen from US $1 to $1 million US dollars
Yeah.
2 years ago to just $4.5 million US dollars last year.
Okay. All right. Notice in the parentheses, number 4, sales of this mirror. Yeah, okay. In parentheses, extra information. Okay. What is this phrase? And this is a pretty much standard phrase. Any idea what this simple word is here?
Do you have like this was written somewhere?
No, I don't.
Oh, but how do we know that the words we proposed are correct?
Because I will know if it makes sense or not. Because most of these are really standardized phrases. They're colloquial phrases. They're, for me, as an English speaker, they're like, it's raining cats and dogs. I'm going to know if you say it's raining cats and horses, that that's not correct. These are very colloquial, most of these are very colloquial phrases and collocations. So for me, they're, you know, it's bread and butter. Sorry if it's difficult. I guess
that's not difficult, but I don't understand. Sales of this mirror. I'm not sure. What should I put? What word?
The phrase is in its original form. Okay. This is used very commonly to talk about a product before the product was modified in any way.
Oh, the sales of.
Okay, so, you know, Coca-Cola in its original form has sold more than 1 billion gallons, I don't know, whatever. So not talking about Coca-Cola Zero or new formula or any offshoots. Okay, so when you talk about a product before it was ever modified or changed.
Not sure. What's the word?
In it, the word that fits in the blank is ITS, in its original form.
Wow. Okay.
It's just a standardized phrase to say before it was ever modified, changed, improved, whatever. Okay. Anyway, I've risen from US 1 million 2 years ago to just, well, what's the logical answer here? We have just. So it seems like you don't even need a word. There's 2 possible words here that make sense, and really nothing else.
At.
Not quite. No. If it was exactly 4.5 million, we'd just say to 4.5 million.
About.
To just about. Okay. Well, all right. The
roughly.
Phrase just roughly. No, see, we wouldn't use just. Just about is a phrase, but it would be doubtful it would be used in a business sense. Just about is a useful phrase, but we use it to talk vaguely about numbers in a general way. When you're talking in business letters, you have to be a little more specific. I would think this would be just under or just over, one or the other.
Wow.
They're the only two words that actually make sense to me. Just around, just about, no, they're too vague and icky as far as business writing is concerned. That doesn't sound like professional, formal writing. It sounds very informal, conversational. So your answers are not entirely wrong, but a little more formally, I think, would sound better to me. Okay, Roberto, can you take over the next sentence?
To our excellent sales projection based on market research in Europe and America, we have increased our production capacity by 100% and are now also a position to begin supplying other markets with our products.
Okay. All right, number 6. Blank to our excellent sales projections.
I think it's according to.
Yes, according to our projections, according to our analysis, according to our, forecasts. Yes, very standardized business phrase. All right, good job, Roberto. Roberto, one thing, based on market research. One syllable, based. When you have
based.
That here the ED has that T sound, based.
Based.
That's it. After unvoiced consonant sounds, the ED past tense is pronounced like a T.
Okay.
All right. And are now also blank a position to begin supplying, blah, 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 blah.
I don't know, okay. I don't know.
It's a preposition.
Mm.
Okay. In a position. Another fairly standard business phrase. We are in it, our verb to be, are in a position, which simply means we're ready to do this now. We can do this anytime. We're prepared to do this, whatever, which is here to begin supplying other markets. All right. This is a very formal, very common business way to say that we're ready to do something, to introduce that idea. Okay. Mustafa, can you try the next one from...
Our plans.
Yeah, our plans.
Okay. Our plans therefore include energy and presence and blank that objective in mind. We are seeking a distributor, blank, possibly a joint venture partner in your country. Okay.
All right. Basic connectives here, really.
Teacher, it's so difficult for me. I have to understand all the sentence. Our plan, therefore, include energy and presence. And it's that, and therefore that objective in mind and includes that objective in mind and involve and what?
Now, much simpler. And with that objective in mind.
Oh, with?
With, W-I-T-H.
Okay.
The whole phrase is very common. With that in mind, objective, take it or leave it. Okay. With that in mind, okay, you just said something, and now you want to refer back to it, but in a way that says, okay, remembering what I just told you, here's what I want to do. So this whole phrase is that transitional. So we're using it to add another idea, which is we are seeking a distributor.
It's
no.
Oh my God. Also possibly, or what?
Yeah, you're making it more difficult than it is. And possibly, or possibly.
Oh, okay.
Could be and or. Just a simple connective to join
Okay.
two different ideas that we're adding together. And or. That's it.
Okay.
Okay. Matthew, maybe we have time for the last sentence here.
What's the sentence?
From other products?
Other products which we have in the pipeline and we should be launching within and what? And that's it?
Yeah. Okay. Which we have in the pipeline, and what could you add here within the coming year? Now,
Stocks.
You don't need anything. Again, all right? You don't need anything. The idea is that we, in business English writing, you should err on the side of caution. You should err on the side of formality. If you're going to make a mistake, be more formal, say more than you have to. It's very simple. And which we should be launching. That's it. Okay? Informal English, I don't need the which. All right? I actually don't really need to have the relative pronoun which here. But in business English writing, if there's choices of whether to use which or that as a relative pronoun, you should damn well use it. Just to, you know, put it out there point blank. You need to use it because you want to make the information as clear as possible. You don't want any ambiguity. Okay. And the last one, and self-cleaning eyepiece suitable for a wide range of optical instruments. Just simple connective preposition for. Okay, we are out of time. Sorry, guys, out of time and overtime. Maybe I should have had choices for that last exercise. One of those things where it seems like obvious to me, but quite challenging, I guess. I was trying to show the style. Anyway, I'm out of time. I gotta go. So see you again soon. Thank you very much.